sisters, I want to share with you some life-changing truths for those of you all who will choose to be kingdom women. Now, again, a kingdom woman is different than a woman in the kingdom. A woman in the kingdom is one who has did, according to John chapter 1, verse 12, she has received Jesus Christ. Bible says, as many as received him, that many is whomever received him, Jesus Christ, to them he gave the right, the power, the privilege, the authority to become the children of God. In other words, if you receive Jesus the Son, then you are accepted by God the Father. And that's not hard for you to understand. Those of you all who have children, anybody who accepts your child automatically is going to be good with you. So that's how salvation works. That's becoming a woman in the kingdom. But becoming a kingdom woman is a little different in that a kingdom woman is not a woman who's just satisfied with a relationship with God. But this kingdom woman is a woman who has learned and is learning to listen and yield to the leading of the Lord. I shared this analogy with the brothers, and I think, sisters, you can catch this. A king being in the kingdom, being a woman in the kingdom and a kingdom woman, it's almost like Susan getting invited to the party. You in the party, you there. I mean, you front stage, you are in the party. How your time at the party is spent, whether you're going to have fun, whether it's going to be boring, whether or not it's going to be something worth your while, is going to be determined by your interactions once you're there. So it is with the lesson series we're talking about when we talk about a kingdom woman. Being saved gets you in the kingdom, but your willingness to follow the lead of the Lord and listen to his instructions on how to handle matters in your life will determine whether or not you are a kingdom woman. We've been studying the life of Mary. And as I shared with you last week, I shouldn't have to spend a whole lot of time trying to convince you that Jesus was just not in the kingdom, but she was a kingdom woman. Her story is, the episode I want to deal with is recorded in Luke chapter 1, verses 26 all the way to verse 38. It speaks of the angel visiting Mary, sharing with her what was going to happen. If you choose to be a kingdom woman, like the mother of Jesus, thank you, sir, like the mother of Jesus, you will experience three things that are inevitable. They're going to happen in your life if you choose to be a kingdom woman. If you choose, once again, to be a woman who listens and yields to the leading of the Lord, these three things are inevitable. Number one, you're going to stand out. I encourage you to read Luke chapter 1, verses 26 through 38. And it constitutes the context of what I'm sharing with you tonight. You will stand out when you choose to be a kingdom woman. Now, one of the things, I'm going to give you some truth, and I'm going to chase it, as the old folks say, with a little game with you. When you choose to be, sister, a kingdom woman, get ready for everybody to look at you different. When you choose to be a kingdom woman, you are going to stand out. My question to you is, can you handle being different because you choose to take your cue from what Jesus tells you? What Jesus tells you on how to handle your relationships, what Jesus tells you on how to handle your money, what Jesus, here's a good one, what Jesus tells you on how to handle the problems you have with people. Because sometimes, because there is a difference because we stand out. If we choose to be kingdom women, kingdom men, if we choose to do that, we'll stand out. And sometimes standing out is not comfortable. Sometimes I was on a Zoom call the other day, and I didn't do this intentionally. It just happened. When y'all see me on these videos, you see me just my little words to live by. Well, I'm on a call the other day with bishops and Sister Harris. They are in full, well, not full, but everybody got their clergy collar on. They're at their house, but everybody got their clergy collar on. They got their cross in their pocket. And I'm on to do exhortation. And I'm on just like I am now. I think I had the white t-shirt on. And man, if you could have seen the faces of them guys when the camera came on me and I'm in a t-shirt. Now, my point being is I stood out. I wasn't trying to do it. I don't like having that collar around my neck. I don't think no black man ought to be comfortable with nothing around his neck. That's just me personally. Especially with all George Floyd and all that kind of stuff just mess with me psychologically. So I ain't got no, but man, there was such a y'all know what I'm talking about. You know when folk are looking at you funny. My point is, if you're going to be a kingdom woman, and I think you are, that's why you're on tonight. Not perfect, but you're going to listen and you're going to learn to yield to his leading. Be prepared to stand out. Here Mary was standing out. Let me tell you what happens when you stand out. When you stand out, two things will always happen. You will always be recognized. And if you're true to your conviction, you will always be respected. If you choose to be a kingdom woman, sis, you're going to stand out. You choosing to handle situations the way Jesus teaches you to handle them in every area of life, you will be recognized, but you will also be respected. Because sometimes you can be recognized and not respected. But you will, that's watching me. I know what you want more than anything, and that's to be respected. Choosing to be a kingdom woman does that. Choosing to be a kingdom woman causes you to stand out. When you stand out, the second thing that is true in the life of Mary when you read this episode is you will be forced, or not forced, that's not the word I want to use. You will stand out, and inevitably, you will also stand strong. A kingdom woman is given the strength because of the choices she makes to endure the hardship and advance in spite of it. A kingdom woman can endure the hardship and advance in spite of it. Let me bring it where I think you could really pick it up. Let's say you're in a relationship or desiring a relationship, and you decide that this time you are going to play by God's rules. You've got your standards, which you're not going to do, or your standards that include things you're not going to do, things you're not going to tolerate. You're not going to be mean about it. You're not going to be nasty about it. You're going to be firm and loving, but it's not something you're going to compromise. Watch this. When you decide to do that, this standing strong is going to cause you to make better selections. You see, a sister who seeks to be a kingdom woman has a standard that allows her to make better selections. And I think a lot of times what happens is you get to a point, I believe, you get to a point in life where the longevity of doing what's right weakens your standard when it seems as though the right ain't rewarded. When you got your standard, you living right, you're doing what you're supposed to do, you ain't tolerating no foolishness, and you ain't mean, but you got living that way for a while can cause you to say, you know what, ain't no use to this. And let me just, whatever. I ain't gonna be, no. A kingdom woman is gonna stand strong. And listen to, and I'm telling y'all, get close to the camera here. I'm telling y'all this as a man. The woman who can stand strong will not stand alone. I don't care what, the woman who can stand strong. Now, I didn't say mean. I didn't say nasty. I didn't say rude. I said strong, confident in who she is, loving the Lord, respecting herself and others, but not compromising her values and her convictions. When you stand strong, you're not going to stand alone. God will send people in your life, as well as men who are interested. That's what I said. Men who will be interested. Why? Because at the end of the day, a man's going to want to be with a strong woman. Not an overpowering woman. Not a woman who's trying to control, but a woman who has a standard that she doesn't compromise. I promise you, he gonna always have a sense of respect and a sense of admiration. So when you stand strong, you won't stand alone. Don't let that's a trick of the enemy to make you do that. Well, you say, well, Bishop, I've been alone and I've been standing strong. Have you? Have you been standing strong? Because standing strong ain't stuck in your ways. Standing strong is I'm choosing to handle every situation the way Jesus says to handle it. And I'm not going to compromise that. Don't mean I'm perfect, but that's my objective. That's my goal. She will stand out and she would stand strong. Look at Mary's life. When you see throughout the record of the gospel, Mary always stood strong. She was, even in the midst of her pain, in the midst of agony, she stood strong. When you're a kingdom woman, you will stand out, you will stand strong, but then watch this, you'll stand long. Kingdom woman stands long. She's remembered. Mary is remembered. You want legacy? You want to be remembered? Become a kingdom woman. You want to be unforgettable? Become a kingdom woman. I was talking to, I won't call his name, but I was talking to a bishop friend of mine. What today is Wednesday. This had to be Sunday, maybe about 3 o'clock. Excuse me. He had seen the episode, the broadcast. Oh no, I'm good. He had seen the broadcast about the sermon earlier about us, what Jesus says about tithing. And we were talking, and he's a single brother. He lives out in Virginia. And he says, man, Clark, I think I'm ready to settle on down. I said, what? I said, Doc, you about to bring it on in? So I see Sister Daniva, he's Omega too. He's cute. He said, I said, Doc, you about to bring it in? He said, yeah, man, I'm about to bring it in. I said, well, Doc, let me ask you this. I said, what are you looking for? And his words were, on one hand, shocking to hear him say this, right? Now, those of y'all who know your bishop's past and my history, I'm a choir boy, right? Trust me. So you can imagine that's a whole lot of grace my boy needs. So I was shocked at his answer, but I was also intrigued because it taught me something that I think sisters will bless you. I said, Doc, tell me, what brought you to this point? He said, man, I'm getting older and I realize I can't play any more games. I've got to be serious. I've got to, settled down. I've lived life. God's been good to me. He's been gracious. I've made some mistakes. I've paid for the consequences. I mean, I've dealt with the consequences. I've paid for my mistakes. He says, I said, well, Doc, tell me, what are you looking for? This is his words to me, not mine, his words. He says, I'm looking for a woman who can accept me for who I am without compromising who she is. Ooh, y'all ain't listening to what I'm saying. He says, I want a woman who can accept me for who I am without compromising who she is. What's your point, Bishop? A kingdom woman is a woman who will stand out. She will stand strong, but she will stand long. She will be remembered.